Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbity Bobbity Books. My name is Ellie and this is going to be a 2024 goals video. Is it too late to be filming and uploading this video? Maybe. It's already quite a way through January at the moment and I'm going to be uploading this even later into the month, but hopefully you don't mind. I just thought it'd be fun to sit down and have a little catch up really. So this is going to be quite an informal video, probably quite chatty, so please do go ahead and grab yourself a drink or some snacks or something and let's just like catch up for a minute. So the first part of this video is going to be me just talking about a general overview of 2023 and then I'll be putting together some goals for 2024 towards the end of this video. I'll put a timestamp for the goals down below, so if you want to skip me waffling on about my life and you want to just go straight to the goals, then please feel free to do so. But yeah, in terms of 2023 and a general sort of overview, it was a pretty wild year for us. Lots of really wonderful highs, also quite a few stresses as well. I'm sure that's very normal. We all have highs and lows in our lives. But yeah, if you don't know, my husband and I actually got married towards the end of last year. So we got married in October and we had such a perfect day. We were so lucky with the weather. We got married on the 7th of October and planned for bad weather because October and it's autumn, and so we kind of assumed that we would just have sort of cold rainy weather, but we were so lucky and we actually had a gloriously sunny day and it was just so special. So many wonderful memories, really lovely having all of our family there in one place. There were no dramas and it was just such a nice day. And yes, that was definitely the highlight of the year for sure. We've also had quite a lot of stresses. Obviously, you know, having a wedding comes with its own stresses because it takes a lot of organisation. So we were doing lots of wedding planning. We were doing a lot of travelling as well last year because we decided to have our wedding down south in Hampshire and we're actually living in Norfolk at the moment and Danny's family are in Cheshire, so there was lots of driving around trying to coordinate everyone and things like that. But yeah, so there was lots of travelling. Also, if you've been keeping up with my vlogs at all, you might know that my husband and I were planning to move last year. So the plan was for us to move up to Cheshire to be close to family, and we decided to put our house on the market in summer of 2023. It seemed like a good time because my husband was training to become a physio at the time and he was doing his final placement. If you don't know, here in the UK when you train to be a physiotherapist you can choose where you do your final placement, so it's kind of like a work placement, and he decided to choose somewhere that was close to Cheshire, which is where we want to be moving to, in the hopes that it would lead to a job and also because that meant that he could move in with his parents, and it just seemed like a good time to do that. So because he was going to be up in Cheshire anyway for I think it was 10 weeks or something, his final placement, we thought that would be a good time to get the house on the market here in Norfolk, because it was always our plan to move up to Cheshire to be closer to his family long term, and we thought if he's going to be up that way anyway, it would be a good time for us to start moving things up to get the house on the market. And we naively thought that we would be moved out by the end of the year, but things just didn't quite work out that way. We did end up moving up to Cheshire, so I was very fortunate in that my job allowed me to go remote. So if you don't know, I work as an occupational therapist in the NHS, and I was originally doing a couple of days a week out and about seeing patients in the community, and then I was also doing a couple of days a week working for what we call the Home First Hub, which is basically a discharge hub where we coordinate discharges from hospitals. And my work were very flexible and very accommodating, and they allowed me to just do the discharge planning full time, which meant that I could work remotely because we do a lot of it obviously on the laptop and things like that. So the plan was for me to go remote with my work, to move up with him when he was doing his final placement. So we moved up in summer of 2023, and then I just had to come back down to Norfolk every couple of weeks just to show my face in the office and to touch base with colleagues and things like that. They just needed me to be physically there in person one Friday every other week. So we spent a long time spending most of our time up in Cheshire and then just commuting down to Norfolk every other week, and we thought that that would be a short-term thing. Turned out that wasn't the case. Things didn't go quite to plan, as they often don't, and we just had really bad luck basically with trying to sell our place. So basically we didn't get a huge amount of interest on our house. The market is really slow at the moment. I think, you know, the cost of living crisis and all of that, you know, people just don't have the finances, and it's just not a popular time to be buying at the moment. So we had not a whole lot of interest in our property, and then we did get some offers that were a little bit lower than we had originally wanted, but we decided to accept them anyway. One fell through, we then accepted another one, and it looks like that's going to fall through as well, because unfortunately on the survey there are a few things that got picked up, and yeah, so long story short, we are back in Norfolk and it looks like we're going to be here a little bit longer. We had a big old chat and we figured, you know what, there's not a rush to be moving. Yes, we want to be going up towards Cheshire eventually, but you know, I'm happy in my job down here. We've got friends here, and actually maybe it makes more sense for us to stay here, to do the work that needs doing to this house, and then to put it on the market when hopefully things pick up a little bit. So if you're wondering why we're now in Norfolk, it's because we are back, and it looks like we're going to be back for good. The cats, we've got two cats, Casper and Hades. They are both currently still up in Cheshire because we left them with my husband's family for Christmas while we travelled around seeing everybody, and we're leaving them there for a few more weeks because we're actually going on honeymoon soon. So they're going to be in good hands, being looked after by their grandparents whilst we're away, and then once we come back from honeymoon we're going to go and pick them up and we're going to all properly move back to Norfolk. So basically last year was a little bit crazy, lots of travelling, lots of toing and froing, lots of not really knowing where we're at, but hey, that's life. And it's okay, but I think that definitely reflects why I haven't done as much reading as I originally wanted to last year. I think I did manage to read about 60 books last year, but a lot of them were graphic novels and, you know, short books and things like that. So it wasn't a terrible reading year, but yeah, it was a little bit bitty, and I feel like my uploading was also a little bit bitty as well. So I'm hoping to improve on that a little bit in 2024. So yeah, that was my little rambly update. Please do drop me a comment down below and just let me know how you are. You know, how are you feeling? Do you set goals for 2024, or do you just tend to roll with things and see how things go? Are you one of those people that doesn't really mark New Year? Just let me know in the comment section down below. I think it's always lovely to just catch up and to touch base. And yeah, I guess that leads me on to my sort of goals section for this video. So I don't usually set strict reading goals, just because I'm one of those people where as soon as something is a goal, as soon as something is like a task that needs to be completed, I suddenly lose all motivation to actually do them. So these are going to be more like guidelines than goals, but I have put together some points here of things that I would like to focus on and things that I would like to achieve if I can in 2024. So I'm just going to go through them. The first one is to read 50 books. I feel like that's quite a manageable goal. I feel like with everything that went on last year, I still managed to read, you know, over 50 books. So that seems like a reasonable goal for me, something that's not too much pressure, but also something that's going to give me a target to aim for. So it would be really lovely if I can read that many books. And then the second goal that I would like to set for myself is actually to DNF more books. So DNF means do not finish. So I am one of those people where I really struggle to put down a book once I've started investing time into it. I am very much a completionist. I very much feel like I failed if I put something down without finishing it, and I also grieve for the amount of time that I've spent towards a book. You know, if I've dedicated hours of my life to a story, to then put it down and not even see it through to the end just really pains me. But I'm really trying to change my attitude towards that, because I only have a finite amount of time here on this earth, and there are so many books out there, and I feel like I really need to start prioritizing my time and, you know, making sure that I'm doing things that I am enjoying and not just doing things for the sake of it or because I feel like I have to. And so for 2024, I would really like to focus much more on quality rather than quantity. And so I really want to make a strict deal with myself to put down books if I'm not feeling it. I'm going to set myself a little task of, you know, if I get to the 50-page mark and I'm not enjoying something, put it down straight away. If I get to 50 pages and I'm kind of not sure about it, I will then allow myself to read up to 100 pages, and if at that point I'm not enjoying it, then I definitely have to put it down. I think this is going to make sure that I have a much more positive reading year, because I feel like in 2023 I had quite an equal number of books that I didn't really love and books that I did really love, and it'd be lovely if I could shift that more towards, you know, most of the books are books that I really end up enjoying, because, you know, who wants to hear me talking about books that I don't enjoy that much? It's much more fun to, you know, talk about books that I'm passionate about on my channel, but also, you know, it's my time. But time is precious, and you know, I need to be filling it with things that actually are good for me and make me feel good and are enjoyable. You know, it's my hobby and it should be fun. The next goal that I've got on here is to read more sci-fi and horror books. So science fiction is a genre that I am only just starting to get into. It's a genre that I have been quite intimidated by, because I feel like there are a lot of sci-fi books out there. There's a lot of, you know, classic sci-fi. There's all sorts of different genres within the umbrella term of sci-fi, and a lot of sci-fi books are part of really long series, so it's, you know, a big investment. So I have found it quite intimidating. That being said, some of the science fiction books that I have read over the last couple of years have ended up being big hits for me. So I do think that it's a genre that I might end up really loving. So I'd really like to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone and to read more science fiction this year, and hopefully find, you know, a new favourite genre. And then horror books. Horror has quickly become one of my favourite genres, but for some reason I always kind of restrict my horror reading to the autumn months and spooky season, because I do like to read seasonally, and I am going to try and not restrict myself this year, because I always feel quite a lot of pressure come September and October to read all of these books that I really want to read, all of these horror books. And why, you know, wait until just a couple of months in the year? Like, I really shouldn't restrict myself that way, so I'm going to try and allow myself to just enjoy horror books regardless of the time of year. Yes, I probably will read a higher percentage of horror and spooky stories around autumn winter, because that's the time when I'm most likely to gravitate towards those types of stories, because I want to get fully immersed in spooky season. But if I fancy a horror, you know, during summer or whenever, I'm gonna allow myself to do that, because there are so many horror books that I want to read. It's one of my favourite genres, and for that reason I don't really want to restrict myself. So yeah, that's gonna be definitely a goal for 2024. The next goal that I've written down is to continue mood reading. So I think I might have said before that as soon as I set something as like a strict thing and like a strict TBR, these are the books that you have to read, I immediately don't want to read them. It becomes like an obligation. I feel pressured to pick up those books, and suddenly everything else seems really inviting. The way my brain works is kind of like, imagine there's this buffet of amazing food and it all looks delicious, but then someone comes up to you and says, oh, actually you can only eat this, this and this. And while those things might be incredibly delicious in themselves, suddenly everything else looks so much more tempting. That is how my brain works when I set TBRs. So I definitely work much better when I mood read and I just pick up what I'm fancying at the time, you know, no pressure to you know, stick to a TBR, and it means that I'm more likely to enjoy what I actually am reading, because I'm actually reading things that I am in the mood for, rather than trying to slog through books that I'm not in the mood for, because that doesn't give those books a fair chance, you know, because there's a lot of books where if I'm in the right mindset I might end up really enjoying them, but if I'm not in the right mindset then I'm more likely to have a negative experience, and that's just unfair on myself and on the books. So yeah, I'm going to continue to mood read, so you're probably not going to see a huge amount of TBRs on this channel. I might do some mood TBRs. I quite like the idea of doing like quarterly mood TBRs to just set a sort of like selection of books that I can pull from. But again, even if I do that, I'm not going to beat myself up if I end up reading nothing on those lists and just going completely rogue and picking other books. So yeah, mood reading is 100% the way forward for me. The next goal I've got is to film more reading vlogs. So reading vlogs I think are my favourite videos to film. I just feel like I can be much more creative with a vlog. I feel like it's much more natural to talk to you about books as I'm reading them, because my thoughts and feelings are fresh and, you know, the excitement is there. If I've just read something that I'm passionate about, it's much nicer to pick up the camera and to start talking about it straight away, rather than doing it retrospectively when I might be a little bit more fuzzy on the details and the excitement isn't quite as real and as raw. So I really enjoy doing vlogs, but I have been nervous to upload them a little bit because they tend to be videos on my channel that do the worst. They tend to get the least number of views and likes and comments compared to my other videos. But I need to not think like that, because I am doing this channel for me. It's something that I do for fun, and I, as I said, really enjoy doing reading vlogs. So I am going to continue filming them and just hope that they reach people who might find them interesting. And yeah, as I say, I just find it so much more fun and creative putting together montages, especially if I can fit reading vlogs around travel and things like that, because I do also really enjoy traveling and going for walks, being out in nature and all those kinds of things, and it is quite nice to include some of that footage within a reading vlog. So please let me know if that's something that does interest you, because I'd be really interested to hear. On that topic actually, I think I mentioned before that I'm actually going on honeymoon soon. We're actually going for 2 weeks to Disney World in Florida. I'm very excited. We are going to be staying on Disney property and we're going to be going to all the Disney parks. We're also going to be going to Universal Studios in Florida. So it's going to be a theme park heavy honeymoon and kind of a once in a lifetime trip really, because, you know, these holidays are, you know, a big expense, but it's also something that we've always wanted to do. And we've been meaning to do for a long time. We actually had a big holiday to Florida planned before lockdown, before the pandemic, and unfortunately we had to cancel that. We kept moving it, but we just never got to go. And now finally we are getting to go, and we're both so excited. So if you have any recommendations for us whilst we're there, please do drop them down in the comment section. But I'd be really interested to hear if you would like to see what we get up to whilst we're there. I probably will be filming a few clips anyway, just for our own memories, but if that's something that you would like me to share on my channel, please let me know. I'm aware that I probably won't get much reading done when I'm there, because it's going to be very action-packed. We're going to be busy. It's going to be long old days in the parks trying to get everything done. But if that happens to be something that you're interested in, please do let me know. And yeah, I'm just so excited for that. But hopefully next year as well we will get to do some more travelling bits as well. I'm going to try and prioritise that a little bit in my life, because I do really enjoy exploring, even if it's just here in the UK. I think it is really important to, you know, have a bit of change in your life. I feel like sometimes a change is as good as a rest, and sometimes it's nice to just go and explore. And like I said before, I really enjoy going outside on walks and things, so I would really love to, you know, maybe go to the Lake District in the UK or the Peak District, places like that where I can you know, go out and spend time in nature. And that's actually one of my personal goals for 2024 is to spend more time outdoors, because it really does soothe my soul. I really enjoy being out in nature, so it's something that I need to prioritize more in my life. So it'd be cool if I could also incorporate that into my booktube channel and into my reading goals as well. The next goal that I have written down is to be more organised and to keep track of my reading. So at the moment I have no formal way of recording my reading other than on Goodreads, but I feel like that's not always that accurate. So I really need to get a bit better at that, and I think one of my goals for this year is to record things properly. So I think I'm going to actually create a spreadsheet where I can record, you know, the books that I've read, how long they are, what genre they are, what my thoughts were, just so that when it comes to filming I can be a little bit more organised, and so at the end of the year I can have some nice stats to share with you, and I can really have a better understanding of my reading patterns, and to be able to share a little bit more specific information with you. So yeah, being more organised is always going to be a goal of mine, because that is something that I do tend to struggle with in my life. But yeah, I think I'm going to try really hard to keep on top of those kinds of things this year. The next reading goal that I've written down is to read at least 2 classics. So classics are a genre that I have typically been quite intimidated by, and I don't know why, because there have been quite a few classics that I've read and really enjoyed, but I really want to, you know, make a deliberate choice a deliberate effort to actually read at least 2 classics this year, because otherwise I just won't. I feel like classics are the type of books where, you know, I have no motivation to actually pick them up, but once I'm reading them I do tend to really enjoy them. But it means that I have to actually force myself in a way to actually reach for them and to actually pick them up and decide to read them, because otherwise I just won't, especially because, you know, I tend to be a mood reader, like I said before, and for some reason classics don't seem to draw my attention, if that makes sense. So yes, I'm going to set myself, you know, an achievable goal. I feel like 2 classics isn't too much to ask for, and yeah, hopefully that will help get me hooked and help break down my barrier when it comes to classics, and help me to see that it's not something scary, and that actually I might really enjoy some of these books, and then maybe I'll pick up more in the future. Okay, and the final goal that I've written down is to reach 1k subscribers in the first half of the year. So I am so proud of how my channel has been doing, and we are so close to reaching 1k subscribers, and that honestly just blows my mind. I can't believe there's that many people that are actually subscribed to this channel and that watch my videos. So thank you so much if you are subscribed, for supporting my little channel. It really does mean the world to me, and I love having this little community here, this little safe space on the internet where I can just chat to you and get to know you and to talk about books. So yeah, hopefully in the first half of the year I will meet that goal. When I first started this channel I was like, if I can reach 1k subscribers I will be made up, because that just seemed like such an unrealistic goal at the time. But the fact that we are now here and we are so close is just incredible. So yes, I really hope to meet that. If you are watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing and helping me along my way to this goal. It really does help. Also, please, if you like this video, do like it and leave me a little comment. Things like that actually really help with my YouTube channel. This is something that I was quite naive to before I started filming these videos, but actually the more interactions that your videos get and the more people like your videos, the more comments you get and things like that, the more likely it is that YouTube will promote your videos. So if you want to support my channel, that's a really easy way to do that. So I would really appreciate it if you do go ahead and like this video and comment something down below, even if it's just a little emoji. So yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. I don't know why I'm feeling a little bit flustered. I feel like I always, I don't know, I get a little bit flustered when I'm talking about goals and things like that. I don't know, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. But yeah, those are all of my goals, and that is where I am at in life at the moment. Thank you so much for listening to me rambling on. I hope that it was vaguely interesting to you. Please let me know what your goals are down below. I'd love to hear what you're prioritising in 2024. I'm wishing you all the best. I really hope that this is going to be a good year for us all. Anyway, with that, I am going to head off, so thank you so much, and I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!